Now I am going to show you how to work with the login. In order to log in into the system, what I will do, if I click on dashboard, you see that the dashboard is showing, but I will stop showing the dashboard. For example, I am going to the dashboard now, and here in this page, that means in the particular dashboard.php page, I will here check. What I will check, if not is set, for example, I will call a session variable, that is user. If not is set session user, then I will make him redirect. So redirect him to the main base URL. So okay, so base URL, and exit will be here, so no code after that will be executed. If you call the exit, that means the program will exit here and nothing will be executed after that. So now if I try to refresh, if I try to go to the dashboard, you see that I am going back to the index page. Okay, this is not dashboard, this is index page, so it is redirecting me to the index page. Now what I will do here, this is okay. I am going to come here afterwards. I am going to work with the login now. So one is login and another one is logout. So how I can log in the system, I am going to show you. In the login there is a form. So in this case I am going to give here name form one. Okay, so here the email will be here, email and password. So here email and password are given, and in the top I am going to call PHP, then if is set, then post of form one. So form one, then I will check the same thing. I will check that I started with the done with the registration page. So I am going to there, and using the try catch I am going to check the email. So email verification, so here I am going to check it, for example, and last I am going to copy the catch. As I have already the code, I am going to copy it, and here I am going to paste it. So this is the catch exception. Okay, so here I will not take these two, I am going to remove these two, and here if email is empty, email cannot be empty. If email bar, then it is also error. And now I will check the password. So if the password does not work, so that means I am going to copy it. So if the password is empty, so you cannot give the password, and then I will check if the data is there or not, invalid information or not, because the username and email address, the email address and password can be all validated by the form input, but the information cannot be stored, that means the user cannot be found. So in that case I am going to check. So I am going to call PHP select. So here, for example, I am going to on thing, that is from the users table I am going to check where email equal to this and password equal to this. But what password you are giving here, you know that this one is not stored in the database, so I will have to check the password using the hash. So for the email, this one will be post of email like this, and for the password it will be password, for example. And here I will check in here if the password is okay or not. So in order to check that, if I go to the password hash function again, you will see that here there is a password verify function. So I will have to use the password verify function here. So in the verify password, what I will give here, I will give the password here and the hash that was saved in the database that I am going to give here. So this is actually the check. So if the password is valid or not, I am going to copy this data and I am going to paste it. Sorry, not here. I am going to check email, and where password equal to the password, I am going actually here I will check the password. So what password I am going to get from here, I will check that. So what is in the database, first, not actually password by the email. If everything okay, if email is okay, if I get it, then I will have to get the password. That means I will have to give the data in my hand. But that email can be wrong. The email who is the user gives here can be wrong, right? So here the total will work also, so I will keep it. and I am going to do one thing, that is I am going to save the password. To save it here, I am going to do like this. Okay, so here q execute equal to here post of email. Why error? Post of email, here at last there will be bracket. Okay, so from the database I will check, but here I will check if not total. If the total, that means if not total, I do not get the information, the email that your user is searching here, then I will throw an exception that email not found. So here I am going to call email is not found. Okay, so here I can get, and else mean I get email. So I will use this query here like this. I am going to call this query here now. So I will get all the data from here, and in that case I will get the password from the password field. So this is the password. So I will now have to match the password. So here I can check if password verify the password the user gives, that means from post of password, if it matches with the password that is saved into the database. If after the password verify, that means if I use this technique, it will tell that it will be verified or not. Internally it will call the function and it will match the password. This password is actually 1234 that I will give, and this password is saved according to hash technique. So but if I call the password verify function and use the operation on this, then automatically it will work on my input password 1234, and it will check if after the password hash it matches with it or not. But the internal function that is there does not enclose. So for the security there is no way to see the algorithm. So I am going to just check what they prefer. So in this way, what I will do, here I am going to check if password verify is okay, but if not password verify, then I will tell here that the password does not match. So email is not found, or email does not match, and password does not match. So if everything is okay, then I will call for example, you can now log in. I will call here you can now log in. Okay, so here I will have to give the error message here, what I did in the registration page. In the top I will call the error message. So here I do not need to show success message, because if this is success it will take me to the login dashboard. So I am not going to do that. Just here I am going to show the error message in the case of error. Now let's check it. If I go to refresh it, if I go to the login, here email not empty, this is email invalid, and if email is valid, this is showing password cannot be empty. So if I do not give the password empty, then it will tell email not found. If I put the correct email, for example example.com, I'm going to copy it. If I give the correct email, email not found, why? smith@gmail.com actually. Okay, no problem. So I am going to give here, and password I give empty. Now you see that the password does not match. Now if I give everything okay, then you can now log in, right? So all my functions, all my codes that I wrote here is actually working. So what we do here, just do it. For example, I am going to show using the printer what is the value of a result. Here I am going to see that the result has no value, the result row actually. So here nothing is coming. So after it will show. So smith gmail.com 1234. You see that all the row information is in my hand. Okay, so all the row data using the query is in my hand. So what I can do, I can easily make a session variable, and this session must be user, and because I put it to check in the dashboard that this session is user, Must be user means here as I show user, as I check user here, so you will have to call user here, but you can put anything here. This is not mandatory. What you will actually give here, you can take any session variable as you want, so that is not a problem at all. So I call the session variable row, and in that time I will redirect him to the location, which will be location base URL dot dashboard dot php. So it will take me to that page. So I am going to close this. Now let's check it. So if I now continue it, yes, you will now be taken to the dashboard, but not taking dashboard. What has happened? Session user equal to row header location dashboard.php. Here if not session user, then it will be here. So okay, I am now going to do this thing again. So ismail@gmail.com 1234. It is not working. Why? If as I am using session, you know that in order to use a session any place, you must have used the OB start. So actually it is not working. For this, session start must be given here. Now you can use the session variable, right? So now let's check it, refresh. I am going to log in again. So ismail@gmail.com 1234. You see that you are now taken to the dashboard. So it is the dashboard. So you can go another page, and from here dashboard. So dashboard is visible in front of you. Now if I log out, if I for example log out, so here I will have to call OB start and also session start, and then I will have to unset the session variable that is my user. So I am going just to unset my user variable. Now header location will be there, header location will be base URL, and you can also take him to the login page. So login.php. So exit here for safety. Okay, now let's try. I am in the dashboard page now. It is showing very well. If I click on logout, so it will be logout, but base URL not found. Why? Because you see that the here is no header. So I can do that. I'm going to check the header. In header already OB start is there. So what I can do, I can call the header file here. So here I am going to call include header.php. So all the things I will get here. So include once, right? So let's check it. Yes, logout is successful. Now if you try to log in into dashboard, you see that it is not possible to log in to the dashboard. All registered users are, it is okay, no problem, but you see that the login actually is working. So here I am going to log in and do one thing, that is in the menu. You see that when I will be in the login, then only dashboard and logout will be shown, otherwise it will not be shown. So in the header.php, what I can do, I can check here. And remember that I told you everywhere I will call base URL. Okay, so this is a good practice, always do that. So here is base URL, so login URL, and here dashboard.php, and here logout.php. Okay, now here I will check this dashboard and logout. These two will only be shown if there is data in session user. So here I can call that is if is set. What is this set? Session variable. So is set session of user. If there is any value, then these two will be shown, and here end if. Okay, so you can write this in online for simplicity. So like this. Okay, so this thing I will call in this case also. Home will always be shown, and when a person is as logged in, then registration and login does not need to show. So if not is set session user, then only I will show this. So I am going to copy the end if here, and home will be shown always, every time. So let's refresh. You see that the other two are not coming here. So now I am going to log in as this. So you see that home, dashboard, logout. Home is showing, but the other two are not showing here. And here you see that hi Peter, it is going to give me the name. But you know, as this is session array, remember that here what we did in the case of login, that is session, right? I put all the row, the complete row I put into the session. This is actually the session array. If I go to the dashboard, and here if I want to show the detail of this user, let's check what is coming, PHP printer, and here if I want to show this, let's check what is actually showing here. So you see that this is actually an array, session array, right? So I can call any index, but here it is actually a associative array, associative one-dimensional array. So I will have to call straight the key. So if I call that hi Smith, so instead of Peter I am going to call it like this. So not Peter, this value will come from the session variable. So echo session user of first name, user of first name, because this is the array, there is session user, and first name I am going to call him. So I am going to close everyone. Now you will see that here, hi Smith, welcome to dashboard, and all the information of this user will be shown here. So here instead of static data, I am going to put the dynamic data here. So here I am going to show echo session username of first name here. Similarly, the last name I will show in front of him, that is here the last name. So last name, that will be the user email, and this is the phone number. So phone number is here. Now refresh, you will see that Smith Johnson, this was the person who is logged in. Now I am going to the logout, and it comes here in the home page. This data will become from the database, so I am also going to do the that task here. So you see that in the table or data will become from the database. So here I will call PHP select, so it will bring all the users, not ID. I am going to remove it, and here I am going to remove this data, and not total is needed. It will come all the data from the database, and here I will call the total HTML. I will cut and paste here, but at it is PHP code, I can use it like this way for my simplicity. So in this way you can call it. Okay, the other items that is static, I am going to remove it, and from the database, the first one, this is for example row of ID, and the other one will be first name. This is the first name, and here this will be actually the last name, and this will be the email address. So here will be email address, and this will be phone number. So here I will call the phone number. So it is okay. I refresh, you see that only one user I get here, right? So that is showing, but serial is not it, it is actually ID, because the first user I manually deleted 2 user, so auto increment ID is now 3. So here what I can do, instead of showing the ID, here I can give an auto increment field. For example, in the outside I am going to call the variable I equal to 0, and when the loop will be incremented, so then I am going to call the value of I plus plus. So here I will just put the I, each time I will be incremented, so loop will go and I will be incremented. So in this way I can show the data. So this is the serial number. So I hope you have understood how to work with the login system here.